Okay then. Right. Where do we begin this? I was looking forward to this. The Haunting of Ravenwood.
I I I enjoyed it, but we also know my taste in movies, so like I had a few issues with it, but it's all just like the technical shit. Like I've said it once, I'll say it a billion more times. Like sound can ruin a movie,
Yeah, there's one scene in particular.
and this no exception. Oh man, yeah, yeah, that scene that was like I was on board whole fucking time up until that, and then it was like
You talking
I'm
about the
gonna go grab a
stairwell?
drink. Yeah, like when there was just that, like clearly the
At the
microphone
yeah, up
was
at the top of
here
the stairs.
and she's all the way back here, and you're not hearing shit. She could be yelling, and it's just like, yeah, that was a little rough.
Yeah, that was the bit that just took me out of the movie. I'm just like, oh shit. Oh,
Hmm.
where's the second microphone? What the hell?
Right.
Um, Strange Silence. So basically, Haunting in Ravenwood, independently created movie. It's actually a guy that's on my friends list. He was the screenwriter for it, and I think he was the assistant producer. I didn't take down all the. I hate doing the names thing. Do you know me? So people made a movie.
Mhm. Yeah, no, I'm
That's
terrible.
people acted in it as well.
Yes.
Adam does all that stuff. He
Yes, we
loves getting
got.
into all that. Producers and fucking directors, that's not there. That's just not me. It's like I want to talk about the characters and the actual story, and then we'll worry about how it went right or wrong afterwards. So, got a
Yeah.
newly married couple, Eric and Mary, move into a house of his late wife, where the garden has been maintained in her memory. Soon events take a spooky turn. It's a bit of a strange premise for a movie, because
Hmm. Yeah, it's like how long after his first wife's death did they move back into her
I thought it was
manor?
two
Which, I
years.
mean,
I wasn't 100.
come on.
This word is a bit ambiguous.
Yeah, I
I
kind of
thought it
missed
was
that
two
part, but
years. I could be wrong because it wasn't really made clear.
mhm. Yeah, I completely missed that part. I just remember Captain Turtleneck bringing her there and talking about his dead wife the whole
Oh,
time. It's
Jesus
like, come
Christ, he
on, man,
was.
that's a little fuck.
Um, where that character, right? He's a city boy. He's a fucking penthouse suite. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Elite fucking banker, artsy fartsy type person. On what planet would he move into a house like that, or move into like a remote town? It was he stuck out like a sore thumb.
Mhm.
I was like,
Well, I mean, it is kind of explained later on in the movie, like after the dinner scene, that essentially he's just a fucking parasite that leashes onto whoever's got money.
but again, that
So
doesn't
it,
make sense because he would have just sold the house.
yeah, I don't know. Well, and especially to employ Homeboy the whole time. And let's face it, that guy
Fucking
fucking
groundkeeper
sucks
Willie.
at lawn escape. Like that dude, man. I mean, I want that job where I'm just getting paid daily to sit there, have a sandwich, and take a rake every now and then. Go, oh yeah, raking up this pile still from 5 years
Yeah,
ago.
it's like
Like
a freaking civil
that
service of the
motherfucker's
council.
got it.
He just needed somebody with a high vis vest to be watching him eating the sandwich and raking the leaves. Being a
Yeah,
government employee.
yeah, definitely.
Um,
But he needs to have like seven supervisors, all hard hats, all
yeah,
discussing. Yeah.
God, man. And also, they should have went to the botanical gardens and like superimposed it in because it was grass and a bit of dirt.
I mean, there were some
Okay,
flowers
right.
there,
That's
so it's something, I
when
guess.
somebody says meticulously cared for a garden. I'm expecting hedgerows carved into swans and fucking color
Hmm.
coordinated. All round seasonal fucking bouquets and water fountain somewhere. Do you know what I mean? And the mosaic path leading and twisted and
Hmm.
winding through it. I'm not expecting someone's backyard.
Yeah, for being a manor, that wasn't much of a
Yeah,
manor.
but weird. So we'll start off. We're in the therapist session now.
Hmm.
Maybe I'm not too, because I know therapy is an Olympic sport in America, but were they both part of some program? Because I wasn't getting the hint it was a normal therapist session. So
Um,
she had been committed,
didn't seem
but
like it. I
had Eric been part of this group or something?
No, I think she found him afterwards. It kind of seemed like he forced himself into those sessions, like after she had already left the, like each meeting, because that's kind of what the therapist was saying. Like, oh yeah, your husband seems so concerned. He was talking about this and blah blah blah. Um, but no, I'm pretty sure it was post her getting out of the asylum or whatever she was in.
Yeah, because it was weird. It was like she had been committed because of stuff going on, and it seemed like they both met each
Mhm.
other through grief counselling. It wasn't really well explained, but it almost sounded as well as if, because remember she brought up the no relationships rule. It almost sounded as if it was conservatorship that,
Mhm.
you know what I mean, that was a rule if you wanted to stay out in the world and not get put back in again. I don't know. It was all
Mm.
very ambiguous. I
Yeah, I
didn't
missed
quite
that part, I
get
guess.
the premise behind it.
Hmm.
But yeah, so like I mentioned, her going through that counseling session, she's talking about all these changes and moves in her dreams, and then
Hmm.
apparently I was a famous actress who was in The Exorcist, who played the counselor.
Oh, okay, that makes sense as to why Pazuzu was there. I was uh I was really fucking wondering that. I'm like, why the fuck is there a Pazuzu statue there? Like, am I missing something, or is this going to be one of those things where everything in the background is a horror reference? So
Yeah, I
that
forget her
that
name,
makes
but
that makes sense.
come on, I didn't bother. You know me with fucking actors. I look at here and now. I don't worry about. It's not about what they've done before or anything else. It's the here and now in the movie I look at, because it doesn't matter. You can make 100 movies, and if this is a stinker, well, tough shit. Or if you've made 100 stinkers and this is your grinding piece of glory, cool. We'll go with it.
Hmm.
Yeah, so that was all really confusing because it was going as if it was a normal therapy session, but then it was hinting that there's more to it, and then it plays out
Hmm.
later on, which got really weird. Yeah, and like we were talking about at the start, so this is Eric's old married home where Carla, his first wife, killed herself.
Hmm.
He doesn't fit there at all. Like,
No.
makes no sense for him to move back to that neighborhood. And plus, he'd only been there through work, consultancy thing, so
Hmm.
he'd no attachments to the town, no investment. We'll get on that next scene later. Fuck, that was horrendous as well. So it didn't make any sense.
Yeah, that was one thing I was having a hard time understanding. It's like if he owned the place, and especially if he's paying somebody to
And
keep the
plus, he'll
grounds, like
be
why the
paying
fuck
tax
wouldn't
as
he
well.
stay
He'll be
there?
paying property tax.
Yeah, yeah, and that's just a fucking killer, even if you own a place. But yeah, I was having a hard time understanding that. And then to show up and they don't have, power or anything. It's like
And he hadn't.
why would you be paying a guy to keep the lawn and the garden, but not keep the
And the
power
inside looks
on?
as if it's a dungeon. And plus, all the old stuff. They're talking about having furniture arriving, but all the old stuff was there, and
Hmm.
they'd never visited. Like, it's easy to jump on a plane and
Yeah,
go, you know, an internal flight, jump on a plane, go and see the place, tidy it up
hmm,
a bit. You know, it just didn't make sense.
yeah.
I know we're trying to create atmosphere, but logically, you know, my logic center's going, why? So some
Yeah.
of this house,
Well, and especially if you already have a groundskeeper, like why wouldn't you have the groundskeeper
I
take care
think
of
they
everything
hinted
else?
that he was doing it for free. They started off paying him, then let him go, and then he just kept coming around to do it. But I don't know, man.
I thought he was still paying him
Once
though.
again, it wasn't
Like
clear
I don't.
because it was the
Yeah.
father was the original groundskeeper. Then they took on the son, and
Mhm.
then they said that the son just kept coming around anyway. And
Okay.
I don't know. He was a waste of a character anyway. There was potential there, and just turned out to be a waste of a
Mhm.
character, which was a shame.
Yeah, yeah, it really was. Because they kind of set him up like he was going to be the almost like the middleman between the current wife and the ghost of the old wife, because he was the only one that like regularly saw her. And then it just ended up being him just standing outside going, "Oh, there you are again."
Yeah, it was.
And that was it.
Oh man.
Great beard
Well,
though.
that's what it.
Like a
He's just.
great
If he had
fucking
talked
beard.
in a Scottish accent, that would have been it. Because he's
Mhm.
groundskeeper Willie. That's just what I saw straight away,
That'd
and I just couldn't get that out of my
have
head.
been
I'm just
great.
like, oh, fuck, I just couldn't take it. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
What's his face that played the lawnmower man? You know, he was a. You know, what I mean, that was. If you're talking about somebody who's
Yeah.
challenged and you know that's their thing, that's the
Mhm.
sort of character I was expecting to see. Not this guy.
Right. Yeah, that would have made a lot more
Yeah, because
sense.
he's used fucking grooming products, you know, and that voluptuous fucking herpes of his, you know, what I mean that's his pride and joy. You don't get like out of it. Simple there'd be birds' nests and stuff in it, and you know,
Hmm. Yeah, that was not a Radagast beard. That was somebody that takes
yeah.
care of
So you don't,
themselves.
you know, it just the character just once again, Eric's character doesn't fit. Gregory's character doesn't fit. Mary's cool. Her character was cool. That she
Hmm.
seemed to be the one.
Yeah, she. So I hate to say it like this, but they were in different movies. She was in this movie. Like her whole, um, I mean, there was a lot of overacting, but excusable, especially because we established from the beginning she's crazy. Um, but she was the one that beat for beat everything made sense for the movie and the style of movie with her.
Yeah, it was like her movie, and everyone else just kind of there. It was just
Yeah, yeah, they were like the tie-ins for a different for different
yeah,
sequels or something.
very, very. You know, where does this all go together? I was really struggling,
Mhm.
and that's what I said. I was looking forward to this, and I'm spending most of my time scratching my head, going, "What the fuck's going on now?"
Well, especially with it basically being a chamber piece, there should have been a lot more chemistry, and I didn't feel any chemistry. I mean, definitely between her and the groundskeeper, like, because I mean, he's a gentle soul, and she's like, "Oh, I'm gonna
Yeah,
befriend you
the scenes with those
because
two
you
were
miss your
actually
other
great.
friend." Yeah, that was great, but Eric, Captain fucking Turtleneck, like, he did not fit in very well. And I understood, like, obviously he was set up from the
Oh,
beginning to
you're
be the
the
bad
movie
guy,
beats you over the head
and
with
it
it.
was
It's like
obvious he was
fucking,
gonna be bad.
he's the villain. I know.
Yeah,
Stop hitting me. I know he's a villain. I won't be surprised.
yeah, it's like I don't even think that if he had a curly mustache, a cape, and a top hat, it would
Fucking
be
neon
too much.
signs.
Like he was already right fucking there. The thing he was missing was going and tying her to a
Yeah,
railroad
God.
track.
And plus, did Mary have any money? Because I wasn't. We don't get a.
Yes. Yeah, actually, so that is said at the very end of the
All right, I
movie,
missed
pretty
that bit.
much, which doesn't make sense. Like that should have been at the fucking beginning before the dinner scene, and then it would have made sense as to why he married her versus, whatever else.
Yeah. Fucking.
Rest to a makeup company.
Oh, is that what it was? I don't know. Honestly, I like my
Yeah.
brain was.
Yeah. So
That's why there's two of us had to do this. Because honestly, you're going to pick up bits that I fucking struggling through. And
yeah, yeah, I don't understand why that was brought up at the end instead of the beginning because I feel like that would have made the the dynamic between the two and his reasoning for being so involved with her life and shit and wanting to kill her. It would have made a little bit more sense at the beginning.
yep. And let's talk about the sound because this is the thing that really took me out of it.
Yeah,
They're
that
in the
was.
they're in the house, and she's hearing creaking, and we're not.
Mhm.
And then he's saying it's a creaky old house and floorboards, and then he goes to walk around the house, and it's dead silent.
Mhm.
And I mean, even her, like, there's no sound whatsoever. Even when she starts walking up, there's no sound. None of him
Mhm.
creaking about or anything else. And even doing the switches in front of the camera, like, there's no sound. And also, who lives
Yeah.
in the house? I know there's no Wi-Fi. That they had to bring that bit up, but you could have fucking bought a $10 radio. Like, Even
right?
before my Wi-Fi came in here, I bought a radio and had it plugged in.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? You can put batteries and things. There's still batteries, even if you don't have, like
Right.
I said, $10 radio, fucking couple of AA batteries, you're done.
Right. Well, and the thing is too, it's like they're not out in the sticks. Like
They're in the town.
what? Yeah. When you first are introduced to the house, like you're seeing their neighbors that are right across the street, and it's not like what you traditionally think with a manor being out in an isolated bit of the woods with 20 acres surrounding it. It's like no, they just live on a normal street. Like there's got to be a market or something close by.
Yeah. That's the thing. There's a whole lot of stuff. I know suspension of disbelief and all that with a movie, but you have to have some sort of common sense, and there's none of it here. And it's like, really? And plus, he's such a pretty boy. That's the last time I'm taking a cold shower ever again. Like super fucking.
Yeah.
It's like, really, dude? So if you're that precious,
Yeah,
you would have had the electricity on before you moved in and sullied yourself.
right?
If you like the finer things in life, there's no way you're just moving into a house that's went on this.
Yeah, no shit. And it's like, do what normal people do.
And then she's having
Stay
a
in a
full-on
fucking
bath.
hotel for a couple
2
days
scenes
until
later.
everything's.
So he's complaining
Well,
about having a cold shower, and then next thing you know, she's having a bubble bath. I'm like, this doesn't make sense. Because they didn't get electricity the whole movie. So how the fuck was she able to heat up, like... Or is that an ice bath? Even, and
I guess it must be.
hard as nails? Fucking hell, I couldn't do that. I'm gonna relax in my ice bath here with fucking bubbles. Right, I'm not fighting you, love. Fucking hell.
I mean, hey, why not? If it's comfortable for you.
Go swim in the Arctic, just for fun. Okay, right, you're scaring me now. I'm whatever you want. Here, take my wallet. If you're that tough, fucking hell, I'm out.
Yeah, fucking you deserve it.
Yeah.
You earned that shit just by living.
So she starts having dreams. Sorry, just looking at it. Yeah, starts having dreams and stuff, and she says it's not, and then she's asleep awake, and he's saying there's nothing in the house. And then we'll get that scene when we first meet groundskeeper Willie.
Mm-hmm.
This guy Eric's a dick.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's proper squaring up to this guy. Come here. You alright? Fucking, you still fucking here, sort of thing. Like, dude. And he's the one that brought her down to introduce him. And he's like, proper getting stuck in. Then you're like,
Yeah, I was just waiting for him to call him a nerd and give him a fucking wedgie. Like, he was being an ass.
but the thing is this a transformation of character, or is this just him the whole way through? And plus, if that's him the whole way through, what the fuck's she doing with him? How did he charm her?
Yeah, right?
Like, this guy's got not the actor, obviously, but the character has got the charisma of a fucking brick.
Yeah.
So he's out, he's bullying Gregory, who hasn't seen in a while. Which, once again, doesn't make sense if he's been paying him, or, what I mean? It's just, She's my crap. I don't know. I just, I got confused at this point. Nothing about this guy.
Yeah,
I mean, he's the worst criminal ever. Not even.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I mean, spoiler alert for the end, but like, how the fuck did he get away with it? Like, he doesn't seem like he could get away with anything.
No, that's what I mean. I'm moving back because honestly, if there's no spoilers in this movie, because it beats you over the head from the start. So
That's true. That's true.
you know what I mean. It really does. The visions of Carla. Oh fuck! Once again, back to sound. Mary, Mary. Oh my god! I was going to switch it off there and then. I'm like, what the fuck's this?
Well, the part that got me with that, not just the like that, but him walking around with a sheet over his fucking head. It's like,
Oh god,
dude,
that was later on, wasn't it? Oh fuck, that was.
dude, no, that was pretty much from the beginning when she starts thinking it's haunted. Like, he's fucking running through the house.
Oh, was
with
that him?
shit. Like when he,
I
yeah,
thought that was. Oh god, I thought
straight
that
up
was just cheap
him.
effects.
It had to have been him.
Oh, so he's literally
No, because-
running around the house going whoa at a sheet. I
Yeah.
thought they were just
well, and then
using
it's
bad
revealed
effects
later
to-
on
be her, and he was just doing. Oh my god.
Yeah, no, I think he was just trying to fuck with her, is what it was. At least that was my take on the whole sheet over the head traditional ghost. But then, later on it's revealed that the sounds in the house are because he's got like fucking speakers running all throughout the house to fuck with her. And it's like, dude, that you're trying way too hard, man. It's not that hard to fucking convince somebody that a house is haunted.
Yeah.
Like, you need some elaborate setup. And especially just a fucking kill her. It's like, dude, just kill her. Like, make it look like a fucking suicide. It's fine. She's already crazy. Everybody knows that. Except apparently he didn't understand. And this is really jumping ahead. But
this is the
like
problem.
The whole
There's no. You're going to jump back because this movie's kind of all over the place.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
It really is. Which, not necessarily a bad thing, but not a good thing. But so it's later revealed why she was in the mental institution, and it's not because she was tried to kill herself, which apparently he thought she tried to kill herself. It was because her brother came back from Afghanistan, Iraq, some shit. I don't remember what they actually said, but he was a Marine.
Yeah, it was Iraq.
Was it Iraq? Okay. But yeah, he came back all fucked up and ended up killing himself. So because she was one that found him, she lost her shit and checked herself in. And this is about the time where fucking Captain Turtleneck snaps because he's like, ah, shit, she's not suicidal. Fuck, how am I going to make her look like she's suicidal? Oh, I know. I'll hang her.
Because what you do is you move back to the original crime, the scene of the original crime, where people know what happened, and then you're going to have it replay out again, and you're not going to look suspicious. Plus, you've absolutely no fucking personality. You stick out like a sore thumb, because straight away it's like, oh, city boy, what's he doing here? You know what I mean? There's no way he blends up in the community. And serial killers, psychopaths, you know what I mean? They know how to push people's buttons. And so they would be the friendly, and people would, get on with them, and they would never suspect. That's always the way they work. But this guy, no.
Yeah, this guy's not that guy.
Yeah, right. We've hinted at it, but let's go to the dinner scene because that was the weirdest part of this movie.
That was very, very, very weird.
Like, I don't get it. Who are these people? The Nichols?
Like, really?
And she even calls him Dr. Nichols, not even his first name. His wife calls him Dr. Nichols.
I mean, to be fair, if I was a doctor, everybody would call me a doctor. Period. I would correct every single person, even my own grandmother. Like, no, it's not Cameron, it's Dr. Cameron.
Yeah, that would work with me, wouldn't it? We would have some phone conversations. That would be our entire podcast. It's Dr. Cameron. Fuck off, Cameron. It's just Cameron to me, cunt.
Yeah, fuck
you.
Yeah.
You don't get me. I don't care. Nah. We could do that for half an hour, easy.
Oh, yeah, every episode, yeah.
That would just be it. But, right, now, was the guy Nichols trying to compete with fucking Captain Turtleneck for personality disorder? Or lack of?
I guess. And it's like, I'm still kind of on the fence as to why the fuck he brought him over. Like, I believe it's because he was trying to get her to leave her original therapist and go to this guy so that it was easier to explain that she killed herself
the first thing
somehow.
In therapy is boundaries. So one thing you're not doing is sitting, having a fucking glass of wine in the house with the client. Doesn't matter how small the town is. That's a fucking, you know what I mean? You can see your clients going about their, you know what I mean? If you see them in the street or whatever else, that's fine. But you're not sitting in somebody's house with because that was one thing, I was doing that course. Was it last year? I was beginning of this year. Yeah, fucking hell, it feels like a lifetime ago now. But that was one of the things, neutral environment. So that's why you don't have pictures of your family or, even certificates and stuff. You try and keep everything neutral because you're not trying to impose something on therapy. The person you're speaking to. So he's like sitting there, glug glug glug. Yeah. I will be your therapist. I am your therapist now.
Yeah.
I was like,
very aggressive.
Fuck.
Well, and then the moment, like, after they're done, homeboy's picking up dishes and shit and asks his wife to help him. So then they're just sitting there with a bottle of wine, like, oh,
And
therapy,
plus,
yes, therapy. I'll talk
they were
therapy with you.
slagging off
Like,
a patient.
that's a weird.
Remember at the start of the dinner
Yeah.
conversation? They're fucking slagging off a
Oh, yeah,
patient
yeah,
in a small town. It's like,
yeah.
what the fuck?
Really weird.
Fucking, I'd sooner take my chances than go to you, big lad. You're a fucking nightmare. Jesus Christ,
Right.
you're cooking more damage after seeing him for a while. Oh
Hmm.
man, yeah, that was just weird. And there's no chemistry between fucking Captain Turtleneck and these two. Like they
Hmm.
work together for a bit. There's no.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. It's like that's supposed to be your friend. Like, why are you like I just didn't understand his character and his relation with everybody else in the movie.
Yeah, like I was saying, it just didn't. He didn't fit into that environment.
Hmm.
He's a city boy. He's part of a completely different crowd. So going with these like homegrown country folk, or in suburban types, just not. It's not even
Hmm.
jam. But there's not even like chemistry of friendship or anything else. It's just I was very bland, and
Hmm.
I did struggle because then you don't see what the motivation. Plus, what's his animosity with Doctor Abbott? Because he doesn't know what's been said in the thing, and he's already said she's been with her for 3 years and nothing's changed. So what the hell is he gonna?
Hmm. Yeah, that's I don't get that at all. And especially because like she's just throwing shit out to him. Oh yeah, no, I told him what, or I answered all the questions he had. Why? That's not how this game works. But yeah, it was kind of weird. Like that whole dinner scene was essentially just a setup so they could explain her character. Like, and why would you stop at the doorstep instead of, talking gossip in your car like a normal fucking couple? It's like you're standing right at the threshold of their house. They're probably going to hear you. Oh yeah, no, he totally knows how to pick him. He just got with this bitch because she's an heiress to a makeup company. It's like, man, you're like 5 more steps to your car. Just
Yeah.
say it in there.
Oh my god, it was awkward. Like that was the definitely most awkward part of this
Hmm.
movie because it's really jarring. I think we didn't need those two characters. What we need is a bit of exposition at the start of how these
Hmm.
two met.
Yeah.
I think that's what we needed.
Hmm.
It's like they're trying to fill in plot holes. All these
Yeah.
plot holes are along. They're trying to like scoop and fill them in as a go along movie. And what it's doing is they're digging more plot holes to fill in the first one.
Yeah. And it's like I understand wanting to like slowly reveal the characters throughout the movie, but again, like this isn't the kind of setup where you need that. Like if everything's set up from the get go, and then we just sort of see her decline, and you wonder what's real, what's not, as far as like the dreams, I guess ultimately the nightmares, um, the passing out, all that shit. Like it kind of was there as far as like, is it real? Is it not real? But the problem was from the get go, we
Yeah,
know
well,
it's
Gregory's the
real
one that
because we see the
gave it
ghost and
away
everything.
because he's talking to her, at
Hmm.
the window. So that
Yeah.
green light. Oh my god.
Hey, man, I mean, all I can say is if you're walking into an area of your house and it's got this green glow, you should
You
know some
just
shit's
don't.
going on.
Yeah.
Like, just don't go there.
It's like
That's not safe.
nah.
I loved seeing the smoke and shit. I just kept waiting for Evie from the Evil Bong series to pop out. It's like, that would have been fan fucking tastic.
I don't know. I think this might have actually been served better as a comedy.
Yeah, I'll be honest. Like, this movie, it's one that if I would have watched it alone, I don't think I would have enjoyed it as much. Um, but watching it with my wife with a bag of popcorn and us just giggling the whole time and talking about it, it was fun. It was worth the $3 in my opinion.
Yeah, because I take it you didn't rent the HD version.
But yeah, No,
Oh
that's
right,
the
no,
only
I had
version
that.
I could
I'm
get.
like, I was saving myself a quid in this. I've just got a funny feeling when I saw the trailer. I'm like, nah, just save myself a quid. That'll do me.
Ah, I've spent more on
Yeah,
less,
just
so it's like whatever.
it's like a small
I
victory,
still
sort
like.
of. Ha ha!
Here's the
I
thing.
win.
Yeah, I paid for SLC Punk 2. I ended up throwing that fucking Blu-ray away afterwards.
Never even seen it.
So I'm kind of one of those people. It's like, well, as long as I don't spend $20 on something that really sucks, I'm okay with it.
Yeah, it's I'm quite frugal, and then I go and spend money on random shit, and it's like, what? Where do these two parts of me connect?
Right. Yeah.
Um, right. So we've got the. Let's talk about Carla, because this is the biggest letdown. They were hinting at her, the voice,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, if it had been a whisper or a Carla, help me, you know, that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Not this cheesy, drawn out. Na 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 na. I was just
Yeah, I don't understand why it was the sing-song voice. It's like it's not like a little kid spirit, because traditionally you would imagine a little kid spirit would be that way because they don't understand. It's like this is a grown woman that was brutally murdered.
and they've
Why?
been building her up. Then when she finally appears, she was a zombie.
Yeah, no, and that's the thing. There's two different versions of her.
I saw the one
That's
going.
the thing I don't get. Like
I'm
even
like,
my
what is this?
yeah. Well, and I don't get why it went between that and normal, pretty, ethereal Carla. It's like, and if she got hung, why the fuck is her face like that?
Yeah, because she would have been. You know, what I mean, it wasn't as if she was out in a like hung on a tree in the middle of a wood and left for the fucking bears and squirrels to get at. You know what I mean? For 3 months.
Yeah.
Um.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's a little weird.
Also, her motivation. She wasn't trying to save Mary. She wanted them out of her house. Well, according to Gregory, anyway.
Mm.
Because you know what I mean. It's like, what actually are you here to do? Are you trying to push Mary over the edge, or are you trying to save her from him? Are you wanting revenge? Like, why are you here? Because honestly, she could have not been in this movie. The ghost actually could not have been in this movie. Because
Yeah. I mean it. Her one actual contribution is definitely the ending, but even then, not 100% necessary.
no, because yeah, where do we get? This all builds up. Let's talk about the stairway scene anyway. Like we're saying, the microphone's at the top, and was this coming up? I got confused because I started losing the will to live. Honestly, about 3/4 way through this, and you know when you just start at a screen, you're going, yeah, there's stuff happening. I'm taking none of it in. It's like my brain goes into protection mode
Yeah.
because it's starting to hurt. Because this stuff's just jarring and doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
I'm like, huh?
Yeah, that's always the hard part. It's like sound. Like there's another movie that I tried watching recently. I just gave up on called Lamageddon. Like straight up my alley. Stupid as fuck. Like I love that kind of shit. But man, if the sound isn't there, I can't do it. And when it got to the point where they're like in two separate areas and he's perfectly crystal clear and she's talking like this, it's that shit just, it's like, come on, man. Call me. I would have gladly just bought a fucking lavalier mic for him.
Yeah.
Just so it would have sounded a little bit better. And like, I understand, like the rest of the movie, I mean, it's a low budget movie. So there are certain things you just kind of gotta, give them a pass on. Like the really bad echo and stuff because they couldn't like pad the walls. Because I mean, this is all shot on location. It's like
I would have
not like
forgiven
it's an
that.
actual, like set or anything.
There's no problem with that, you know.
Like I can be fine with that. It was that one scene where that was that severe sound separation. That's what took me out, and the rest it was just sort of like,
Yeah, it was
all right,
after that I just
on this
switched
part
off.
we're all finished.
honestly, my brain just went, nope, Colin's no longer home. And I had to struggle to, because I know I was going to talk. If I wasn't talking about this movie, I'd have probably just switched off or just not even, just deleted it from my brain, which will happen after this. Just like it never happened.
So I'll probably watch it again because I got it for
I'm
another
the same
24 hours or something. So just to get my money's worth. But yeah, that final scene where Mary actually sees Carla,
and they never spoke to each other,
and then he tries to.
She just went, like the two of them never had a moment, or she never revealed to him. Yeah. He's the one who had to explain that he killed her. So why is Carla there? Carla could have done that. At least make use of her character. What's the fucking point in hiring an actress to not use them?
Right. Yeah, it would have been scarier not to actually see the ghost, but to just have the hint of a ghost. But yeah, that whole end scene of him choking her out with a noose for like 5 seconds, and then she's dead, and then goes to her therapy session and is asking if she's dead.
So,
I guess, like I was under the impression, it took a few minutes to actually choke somebody out, like to the point of death. But apparently, if you're crazy and scared, it takes like 30 seconds. And then the killer thing, like you could see her breathing the whole time. It was, and I understand this is a movie. We gotta suspend a little bit.
We've already been generous enough.
Like there's methods.
I've ladled on suspension of disbelief, and it's still not working.
Yeah, it's like there's methods to make it so you can barely see any sort of movement, but she was just normal, like while she's laying there.
Plus, it's like, she's bigger than him,
man.
Because when she goes to fight with him, like she's bigger than him. Like he's a wee dweeb.
Mm-hmm.
So actually, for once, it's not like accommodating stuntman and like 100-pound female weakling. Like she's bigger than him, could kick him around the place.
Oh yeah, yeah, and that's the thing I didn't understand, like why Carla had to help her end up killing him.
She was better at knots.
Should have just been able to do that shit on her own.
I don't think Mary knew how to do the knots because she just got the rope to tie it up. I mean, obviously she was just happening right that because obviously Mary doesn't know how. She's too busy beating the crap out of him. So I'm trying here. I'm really trying. And then the final scene, like she didn't need to lay there and cry that long. It could have been a few seconds of her crying and then just hard cut to the end. Would have been fine with that. But to keep going, it's like, really? Are you going to be that sad that that piece of shit that abused you for however long you guys have been together is dead now? Come on. Yeah, and the betrayal, that sense of betrayal, like honestly, somebody betrays you like that, you're not worth tears.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, man. Like
straight up.
Like imagine getting randomly married to someone you hardly know and moving thousands of miles away. Like only an idiot would do that.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely.
This was the final thing.
Hey, you know what? At least it didn't end that way. That could have been much fucking worse.
No, we had Gregory in the garden.
I don't know. Would that have been that bad? I don't know. That's a discussion for a different day, I guess. That's a whole other show. It's just for you and me.
Oh, man. But that final, right, wrap this bit up. That final scene, Gregory's like looking up and the window goes green again. It's okay. They're gone now. It's like, somebody else is going to move in. Do you think houses just stay?
Yeah.
In fact, it's now Mary's house.
That's interesting. Mm-hmm.
It's now Mary's house because she's married to Eric. Eric's just topped himself. Possibly. Who knows how this plot works? Or is she going to jail? And the government and everything? We don't know.
I mean, it clearly looks like suicide. Somehow.
Yeah, okay, I'll just... whatever, I'll just go with it. I don't want to hurt my brain on this anymore. But... Mary owns a house, let's just say. It's going to go to somebody else. Or is he just going to move in and have two ghosts and pat them in the head? Fucking, I don't know.
I guess. I mean, I would. Whatever. At least you'd never be alone.
Yeah, yeah, it was disappointing. I was looking forward to this, and yeah, man, it just didn't. It was just, if it had just been a clear, concise story, you could have forgiven a lot of things. You knew it was low budget, wasn't expecting super duper special effects, but I just needed a bit of atmosphere and a bit of chemistry between the actors, the characters. Just
Mm-hmm.
which, yeah, wasn't there.
Yeah. Yeah, my biggest thing, like I said, sound. Sound's always the biggest killer for me. Because yeah, I love schlocky, low budget movies. Like I've got an ungodly amount of them and just eat them up. But if the sound's not there, it's almost unwatchable.
And that's the thing. We've been talking about independent creators now for a while. Hollywood has got all the money, has the budget, and they're churning out absolute shit. This is the time to take their market, but you have to have the basics. You have to have the basics of storytelling. If you have a basic story, don't overcomplicate it. The rest kind of falls into place. But if you don't have that thing, and even the actors have to look as if they're meant to be together. Now, it might be they're a group of friends or they all know each other, and that's kind of the circumstances rather than reaching out. I don't know the thing behind the scenes, but those guys don't gel together as actors.
Well, the thing is, looking it up afterwards, because I'm bad about that. Like, if I watch something immediately afterwards, I'm fucking trying to find out everything I can about everybody. And yeah, they're all, industry professionals. Like Mary, she's an actress. She, if I remember correctly, she does sound and stuff like that, which is ironic because it's like, come on, man, if you do sound, like, not that hard to help out. But yeah, I know, like they all have credits. They have multiple things they've worked on. So, I mean, they could possibly be friends, but it's also like, there's a pretty big amount of things that they've been on. So there should be, I don't know, I guess as actors, there should be a little bit better chemistry and shit. Like they should be able to dive into that a little bit easier.
That, I mean, there was no cohesion with it. And that's what pulled it apart.
And again, the thing is, like, Mary's character, I believed. Like, really, the only one for me that was hard, other than the couple, but they were kind of throwaways anyways. And it essentially just like a transitional period.
Bought an extra mic.
But it was, yeah, right. But yeah, Captain Turtleneck, he was just he was in a different movie than everybody else, and that really was hard for me.
Right. So, yeah, sorry guys, but yeah, it was.
Fuck it. I still say if you like low budget shit that isn't going to be like Citizen Kane or whatever, fuck it, it's worth a couple bucks, especially if you're going to sit around with some friends and watch it. Like I don't regret watching it last night at all.
I think because I'm sitting on my own,
but again,
trying to review this. That's the thing. I think if we were all sitting together having a few beers, it would be different matter. It would just be giggling to Ian. But I was actually seriously trying to completely watch this thing.
Yeah, it makes a big difference. The environment that you're watching it in, and I can understand, like, if I would have been in the opposite role like yours, just watching it by myself, taking it seriously, I probably would have lost interest very early on.
Oh well, give it a try, folks, and if you disagree with us, stick it in the comments. You know what I mean? Let's have the discussion. It'll be fun. Right. Shall we talk about something else?
Hell yeah, let's get on to horrific.
Mom, where have I been? Why did I not know this was a remake? What is wrong with me?
Right, that was that was the fucking funny thing when you hit me up about this. I was like, oh yeah, cool. Which one are we watching? Are we watching the '86 one or the Corman movie?
This is a
What?
thing. What is wrong with? I have watched.
Yeah.
You've seen my DVD collection. You know about the movies I watch. You know I'm a big freaking geek. You've seen my library. You know I'm a nerd. You
Oh
know
yeah.
I freaking geek out and stuff. How did I not know this?
It happens, man. It happens.
God, I don't know. I didn't realize. By the way, we're talking about Little Shop of Horrors. God,
Okay.
this was just joy. Honestly, this was just.
Hmm.
I just big grin on my face, just laughing like both versions. I
Hmm.
thought the original, the Corman version, 1961, mightn't have stood the test of time. But holy shit, that's cutting edge even for today. The acting and
Oh yeah. It's
genuine belly laughs.
well, especially yeah, and once you get into like the behind the scenes of even of both these movies, actually, like it adds such a another layer of depth to these films. Like the Corman one, I'd seen that a bunch of times, never really considered it. And then it was either earlier this year or late last year, I was watching the Joe Bob version of it. And he's talking about like, oh yeah, they did this on like next to no budget and filmed it in 2 days. And it's like, Jesus fucking Christ. This is what you can do in 2 days if you're Roger Corman?
But that's what I mean. This is
Man's a
done on the
fucking
stage.
legend.
Like we'll just talk about giving forgiveness for budget constraints, but this is basically a play. I mean that's it. It's just a play on a stage with a few street shots.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, especially the remake. I mean, that's the thing. It's so for those who don't know, the '86 version with Rick Moranis and everybody, that's not actually an adaptation of the Corman movie. That's an adaptation of the play or the musical that was adapted from the movie. So it's a remake of a remake, essentially.
Yeah, so yeah, there you go. It's but nothing takes away there. I know you brought Audrey out for this. Is that just a?
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, I totally had to.
Was that just to go mine's bigger
Yeah.
than yours? My little, my little effort.
Yeah, I got too much.
It's like fudunk.
Yeah. Well, I almost forgot this morning. I'm like, ah, shit. I was talking about bringing her in last night.
Oh man, this was such a joy to watch. Like I said, normally we're picking apart remakes. We're going about this didn't do this right, this didn't do that, but you can't with these two. They're both fun,
No.
brilliant movies in their own right. They both
Yeah,
have enough
absolutely.
of the same that you recognize it, but they're also enough different that it has its own flavor.
Oh, yeah.
And if you haven't seen these, honestly, shame on you. Have a word with yourself.
Definitely. I mean, I felt bad watching it last night because it's like I was thinking back on. I'm like, fuck, when was the
I haven't
last
seen
time I
this in
watched
years.
this movie?
I'm talking.
And it's like, God, I had to have been a kid when I saw this shit because I know it was before I got out with my wife, and we've been together for fucking almost 15 years now. It's like, holy shit. How have I gone this long? Especially because I
But
own the
it's
fucking
something always in the
Blu-ray.
back of your
It's
head.
like, how have
you
I
know what
gone
mean?
this long without
You
watching?
always remember. I mean, you know what's there. You know the characters. Yep.
And you know the damn songs too. Like,
Do you know why people have Rocky
Yeah.
Rocky Horror Show parties? We need Little Shop of Horror parties.
dude, I can get behind
Keep me
that.
away. Don't
Loves
keep
me
me
some
away
Rocky
from the rum,
Horror, but
obviously.
yeah.
Don't want to repeat that. But yeah, there should be Little Shop of Horror parties. Really, this is such a fun
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah, I would totally do a midnight screening of this shit. I love it.
But yeah, so basically the whole premise is we've got this flower shop. It's on Skid Row. Gravis Mushnick, he owns a place, and in the original version, it's a joke of "you're my son, you're not my son," but in the remake, it is he's his adopted son, and I'm thinking human trafficked. Do you know what I mean? There's a bit more of a sinister undertone in the remake. You know what I mean? There's definitely that
Yeah,
wee bit of
definitely.
darker
Like,
undertone.
oh, yeah. I was an orphan, so he adopted me so I could
And I
work
get every
for
other
him.
Sunday off and a kick in the balls. It's great.
Mhm. Yeah.
But Audrey, also the change the character of Audrey. I like the Audrey, I like them both, but I like the simple
Hmm.
wholesomeness of Audrey in the original.
Yeah, they're definitely very different
But
characters.
they're for different lead ups because in the original, obviously
Hmm.
Seymour has his hypochondriac mother, so that
Hmm.
was to bring her into the scene. But obviously in the remake, we're bringing in the dentist Oren Scrivello. So and
Hmm.
there's character completely played different as well. We'll go on that in a second, but um, the whole dynamic, like the first one, I was on board. Like, and I watched it in the black and white. I know the colors versions available, but stuff I watched it in black and white because I wanted that original,
Hmm.
original feel. Um,
Yeah, definitely.
but yeah, like for a start, who owns a shop in Skid Row? If the place is that run down, get the hell out.
Right. Yeah, flower shop, Skid Row. That makes sense.
Yeah, just not happening. So the premise is on the day of a solar eclipse, Seymour comes by a plant. Now, in the original version, he got Japanese seeds and planted them, and then in
Hmm.
the remake, he got it from a Chinese vendor. So there's still a bit of the Oriental
Hmm.
influence there, just to switch it up a little bit, but still the whole point of a solar eclipse. And he got
Yeah, still makes it all magical.
and then we got Seymour. Basically, he's trying to keep the plant alive. It's project, and it turns out he works on all this weird stuff down in the basement. Does both, and then it's
Hmm.
when he pricks his finger and feeds Audrey. It was Audrey Junior in the original one, and then Audrey 2 in the
Hmm.
remake. Just so, I mean, they played it up. They
Yeah,
played
much more clever.
like little subtle changes, but it's good to
Hmm.
keep note of. With like I said, both these have their own flavor.
Yeah.
When he drops the blood in, then that's it. It just goes fun. I really love the way they did the original one. Like that was
Hmm.
really well done, considering the time and the budget and everything else.
Oh yeah.
I did like the animatronics though in the remake. The whole and
It just every scene that plant is in, it is insane. Especially thinking about what they had to do to film all that shit. Like like for the song numbers, like when Rick Moranis is like dancing and singing with Seymour too, or Audrey too. Like that was because, of course, the limitations of animatronics and shit. Like they had to essentially speed it up. So the entire scene was shot basically at half pace, and it holds up so fucking well. Like you don't
no,
realize that. Like if you didn't know, you wouldn't know. You're just like, fuck, man, that's impressive that they're getting the plant to talk that fast. And it's like, no, they're not. It's just fucking Rick Moranis is that good that he can just sing, like slow everything down that much that once they speed it up, it's going to be
and that
perfectly
was
in
the thing. You
sync.
could be mistaken thinking Rick Moranis is just acting like Rick Moranis, but fuck, I forgot to put his name
Hmm.
down. The original actor that played Seymour acts exactly the same way.
Hmm.
So they're both the same character. So
Yeah.
there's no, you know,
Oh yeah, 100%.
you could actually switch them around into either movie and they're the same character. I thought that was genius.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, let's talk about because that's what we're doing. What we're saying now is that basically Audrey 2's wanting feed me. It was an interesting
Hmm.
choice. Like I said, they made it into a musical. It was an interesting choice to like play that out. It just gave it a whole new vibe. It's fun, but
Hmm.
both essentially the story is the same. We're then leading up to the dentist, who was Dr. Phoebus Ferb in the original, and then it was Oren Scrivella. Am I pronouncing that right? Because
Yeah, I believe so.
but we'll have to talk about Jack Nicholson in the original. But like the dentist is a sadist,
Right.
and then when you get a masochist come in who's into it, and Jack Nicholson just owned that whole scene. Oh my god, he was
Mm-hmm.
brilliant. God, what'd you call him? Character Arthur Denton. So you got this Arthur
Mm-hmm.
Denton character coming in. I was like, is it going to hurt? Oh, and then even the fact that he's, I think people don't understand that Jack Nicholson has played a variety of roles and doesn't take himself too seriously. I think at some point in the 80s, they thought he was like better than all that kind of stuff, but he's not afraid to make a fool out of himself
Mm-hmm.
and have a laugh.
Oh yeah, yeah, because
Yeah,
he's
do
an
you remember
actual
those?
actor. Yeah,
What an
crazy.
idea.
Well, that's like such a great counterpart as Bill Murray's character in this. Like that shit is. I mean, I would believe it if they just were like, "Hey, Bill, you want to come in and shoot him? Shoot a scene with us," and then all of that is just him ad libbing.
Yeah, him and
I'd
Stephen
believe it.
Martin just playing off each other.
Mhm.
Yeah, brilliant. But then obviously the orgy character, orgy one, um, in the second one, they have her
Yeah.
basically being abused, and that was the way of introducing the
Mhm.
dentist character, and they just did him in a completely different way, but it worked.
Yeah.
But essentially, what they're
Mhm.
doing is setting the dentist up and both to be the first victim. Even them replaying the scene, we're fencing, ha ha ha. Just these people are cracked out of their
Yeah.
heads. Like just how they still run a business. They got either of them.
Right.
But that's once again, it was just the whole. Even this version in the '60s, the fact they could pull that stuff off, and they had the whole sadomasochistic element there, and brought it. How they got away with that, I don't know. Like
Fucking Roger Corman,
people would
man.
have, maybe they didn't realize what was happening because they would have jumped on that. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? If they had a twig done, oh, hold on a minute, you would have had all the placards out, going, "You're not showing this filth to our children."
Right. Well, God, even in the fucking 80s, dude, like, this is end of the 80s,
86, wasn't it? Yeah, yeah.
almost beginning of the 90s. Yeah. It's like PMRC, shit like that. Like, the Christian right was really starting to lay down the law. So the fact that that was a widely released movie and I would say almost blatant
Oh, without a
BDSM
doubt,
play.
especially Bill Murray and Steve
And
Martin,
they're
they
just like,
they
yeah, no,
really
that's cool.
hammed it up.
Yeah. Yeah. So the fact that that was just like, there's amazing.
And just got away with it. And then people think this is a family movie. You're like, no. Especially the
It's what I miss about the 80s and 90s. Like you could have family movies that there's adults the jokes get and kids just look at it
yeah,
like, "Oh, that's funny." But it with older and
yeah,
and
because
it's
then
even
that's
funnier.
why certain franchises have lasted so long because they had the two elements going. That's the beauty of innuendo.
Hmm.
But that's all gone
Hmm.
now. It's everyone just.
Yeah.
I mean, you're saying about the Christian right in the
Everything is
'80s, but
on the
now the
head.
pendulums went the whole other way. So we need the pendulum sort of in the middle like this. We don't need it like right here or right here. That's where things get fucked up.
Yeah, somebody just grab the fucking thing and let it hold still.
Fucking calm yourself, people. But yeah, they gave Audrey 2 in the sequel. Though, give her more sentience, but that was just I think effects because the original they did brilliant.
Hmm.
They actually given
Yeah,
this
no, it
thing a voice,
fucking
and the way they
perfect.
did it worked.
Hmm.
Trying to think. Yeah, just a really well put together movie. Honestly, I just had it, and
Yeah, there's just really not a bad thing you can say
I
about
can't pick these
either
apart. That's what I
film.
said at the
Like,
start. I just
uh, yeah, it's just so fucking perfect. And it's such a simple premise. Like, man gets special flower, wants to become important for his love interest, becomes important for his love interest, finds out that the love interest doesn't give a fuck. She just loves him anyways, and then it's over. But it's just so perfect throughout. I mean, of course, now here's the thing: there is a bit of a difference, obviously, with the Corman version. He just can't take it anymore,
yeah.
so he's the last meal, which is
They brought this
fucking
whole thing about I can
perfect.
only eat
Like
three times.
perfect way to end it.
I never heard of that with a Venus flytrap before. No, and I've tried to keep them
Mhm.
there. Don't have the climate over here, so I've never.
Dude, they're a motherfucker. They are some very
You get
finicky
their moisture
plants.
wrong and the light wrong, and fucking
Mm. Their vitamins wrong. Like, yeah, they're tricky. I like to think I have a green thumb. I care for a lot of different plants. Yeah, I don't think I could ever, like, unless I moved, I don't think I'd ever have another
and that's the
Venus
annoying thing. All the
flytrap.
garden centres they have them here all in the pots. You know what I mean? Freaking rows of them. Every time it comes to this time of
Hmm.
year, and you freaking rows of Venus flytraps. You're like,
Hmm.
I tell you, here's how bad I am. Right, I have a spider in my kitchen. Right, and it's been there
Hmm.
not too long after I moved in. It just stays up in that thing. I cleaned away some of the webs, but it's still up there because my
Hmm.
like herb garden, my little herb plants that I have along the windowsill, they start
Hmm.
producing flies, and I'm like, right, yours, get to work. Get these sorted out.
Dude, I totally get it, man. Like, in my garage, there's a nest of oh God, what are the wolf spiders? But in this area, we get like black widows and shit, and that's what they hunt after is flies, other spiders and shit. And my wife's always like, "Oh, well, you need to spray, you need to kill all the bugs." It's like, no, man, me and them, we've got an agreement. They leave me the fuck alone. I leave them the fuck alone. They eat all the pests and shit, and I just we're buddies. Fucking every now and then I'll catch a
Yeah.
fly, throw it in the fucking web because you know what?
Okay.
They're cool.
Which of the
They know don't
species,
get
which
near
is the one
me,
that
and I
crawls
won't get
around
near them.
shit and then lands on your food and be sick on it? Do you know what I mean? Carries
Right.
disease. So which one
Yeah.
do I want rid of?
Yeah, exactly. Like, so they're cool with me. They got their place in my garage. I fucking leave them the hell alone. It's a great symbiotic relationship.
Yeah, it works. I can be even I can be a real hippie at times. I know I get annoyed with activists and stuff because those people just annoy me anyway. Doesn't matter what cause you have. If you're an
Mhm.
activist, you're an idiot because you're just a fuckwit and you
Right.
actually go against the message.
Yeah.
If you're getting people's backs up, well,
Hmm.
guess what? You may as well work for the opposition because that's the effect you're having. Doesn't matter what cause.
Pretty much. Like,
But
yeah,
I
I
have my
can
little
appreciate
hippie
that
moments. I
sentiment
like
quite a
modern
bit.
technology, I embrace the modern world, but at the same time, I have my little bit or I enjoy nature. Let things be. I don't see the point in going around trashing
Hmm.
everything.
Right. Oh yeah. Yeah. If I won the lottery tomorrow, the first thing I'd do is buy a giant lot of land and just become a fucking farmer. Like, I would just live off the land because I wouldn't have to work. Like, that's ideal to me. Of course, I'd still have modern
Yeah, it's about a
conveniences, but
balance. You know what I mean? You wouldn't go and
yeah, the idea.
for a start, you wouldn't go and rip
Uh,
the plot of land apart. You'd use like modern innovation to like how best to integrate with the land. You know what I mean? If you're going to rip up trees, you're going to like
oh yeah.
replant them again. It's just about you don't have to wreck
Absolutely.
the place to be modern.
Hmm.
And solar and wind energy isn't 100% reliable, so you have it as a backup. So you're not using as many resources until the technology
Hmm.
gets better. What you don't do is go out and get
Yeah.
fucking industrial glue and glue yourself to pavements because that's really environmentally friendly. Because when they have to get the solvent to remove it, yeah, that
Right.
works fucking fantastic, doesn't it? With your polyester tents and fucking loudspeakers and campfires.
Yeah.
But yeah, so another famous tangent.
God damn it! It
Yeah,
ties in with the movie.
the sequel. Yeah, let's go. So the police start catching on that these people are going missing in the original. We'll go to the Corman version, wrap it up, and then we'll talk about the sequel because there's a wee bit more to it. They start chasing him. He's running around the place, and then I thought the brilliant bit was when the floor heads start popping up, and it's got the victims' faces on it. Like
Yeah.
that was
Yeah.
dark.
Fucking amazing. Yeah.
Like that. That's why this is under the horror genre because it might be all light and fluffy and jokey, but it's fucking dark, man. This is a cannibalistic plant that people
Hmm.
are getting
Oh yeah.
fed to, and then they don't even have the grace to be allowed to die.
Yeah.
They're trapped as part of the plant, and fucking there's obviously
Hmm.
their whole bodies being melted off and fucking absorbed into the plant, and their consciousness is in a pile going, "What the fuck?"
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean that's fucking terrifying.
But like you're saying, the last scene when Seymour just had enough, he gets his scalpel and he goes to dive into Audrey Jr. and he becomes it himself, and everyone's just like, and keep the plant. Like that's the fucking darkest, twisted part of the original. Oh, he's now a plant, and they're all like screaming inside, going, no! They just keep it there. Brilliant. Right, so what we'll get, then we'll go to the sequel, and we'll go for the theatrical ending first. Obviously, we'll have this like scene because Audrey 2 figures out how to use the phone and stuff. Like, Audrey 2 is twisted, really sneaky,
Brilliant.
Like, Levi, I can't remember the name of the actor, but he did a fantastic job playing Audrey 2. Like, he really gave that plant soul, and then that with the way they did the effects, you know what I mean? Just that plant came to life.
Yeah, absolutely. It's hard. You like it, especially like with modern sensibilities. Like you forget that it's a fucking puppet.
Oh
Like,
yeah, I
completely
was out of
forget.
the zone.
Because nowadays, yeah, it would just be a fucking cartoon like any other Marvel movie.
But it's worse.
But I mean, this is 1986. That is all
But that's
100%
still
practically
watchable
done.
today. You still enjoy it, and you still have suspension of
Yeah.
disbelief. When you watch any of this CGI infested shite that comes out, and you're lost because you know what it is. The magic isn't there. But yeah, they have the whole running battle. Audrey 2 is trying to eat Audrey 1. And that's what makes Seymour snap.
Yeah, that was great.
And then eventually that rips out, it's starting to rip out the cables, and then we start seeing the mini heads. So they took the concept from the first show of the mini heads, but it was mini Audreys.
Yeah, which that scene, that shit is so great when finally Audrey or Audrey 2 rather has some backup players for the singing. It's so good.
I think it was the same girl. You know, the three girls that are singing throughout it. I think it was them singing as well. Yeah, so I was just.
I believe
they
so,
didn't
yeah.
waste any resources. I think those three actually in the remake they brought something else to it as well. They brought a wee bit
Oh,
of
yeah,
magic to it.
definitely.
I know, they weren't as if they were shoehorned in. They actually helped narrate the story. Absolutely wonderful.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, it was great. Like it's so rarely do you get an adaptation of a musical that feels like you're watching an actual musical like on stage versus watching a movie. And this one, I mean, it's a movie. It's clearly a movie. There's different angles, different cameras, but
But you feel like
yeah,
the
it
camera's
just
going through
felt
the
like
stage.
you were in a theater.
Do you know what I mean? It's not like it's going on the set. You feel like it's actually the way they bring the camera into the top. It's almost as if they're coming from the audience. It's almost as if they're giving a little sneak peek.
Yeah, fucking brilliant.
No, I genuinely love this. So eventually Audrey gets defeated in the original version, and then they go to the white picket fence. You know, live happily ever after. Pans down to the garden, and you see another mini Audrey's grown again. And even though it's no eyes, it manages to wink. Like that's even because there's no eyes, but you get facial expressions. Like the animatronics of this thing is
100%.
beautiful. Cheeky wink, and you're like,
Yeah, and it's so funny. Like they had to do that because they did the original, like the play ending or the musical ending, and just shit. Like fucking all the test audience just shit on it. Like, oh, why did it have such a sad ending? It's like, well, you uncultured swine. If you'd seen the play, that's what happens. But yeah, so this was an after the fact type of thing that they had to film
because
because
it
it was
we'll go to the
not
alternate
doing well.
ending now because that was really quick. You know what I mean? And you can just tell it's kind of just being slotted in. Then we'll go to the alternate ending, which was the original ending, which everyone's like, "Oh, I'm so precious." Like, this thing is right to the knuckle. Let's be honest. It comes across as a fluffy, bright comedy, but it's really fucking dark. It's beautifully dark.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And
definitely.
I think the original ending shows that out, and I think that's what might have been too much for audiences because normies, like, they could live in the happy fluffy, oh, there's music, they're singing, they can kind of get away with it, but I think that went a step too far for them, but obviously not for us.
Yeah, definitely. Well, it's because most people want a happy ending, and it's like
But it was a
that's
happy
not
ending.
realistic. Like, not everything has to happen.
It was it was a happy
I
ending
mean,
for Audrey.
I thought the original ending was a happy
You know what I mean?
ending. I thought, like, I mean, that's one of my biggest dreams is to watch humanity fall and the planet take over again. Like, I think that's fucking beautiful. So,
Yeah,
for
Dead of
me, it's
Griffins,
definitely a
or
happy
something like
ending.
that. That's kind of where it's got its influence from. But yeah, in the alternate ending, Audrey wins and then reproduces. They end up in all the
Mhm.
shop floors. Everyone wants an Audrey, and then eventually it's just like raw, big giant monsters going about. But the amount of that's why I knew it wasn't an alternate, like a director's cut, because the amount of effort that went into the last scenes. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't as if it
Mhm.
was. Way sometimes you get an alternative ending, and it might have been the test, and it's not really quite finished.
Mhm.
But this was full on
Yeah.
finished,
Oh yeah.
and you just see the army trying to like take them on, and nothing stopping them, and then the train scene. You got the train scene. You already just go doink. Like it was beautifully done. Like I said, everyone's just creating havoc, and use two dogs. I think running and it's like, oh, don't eat the dog, don't eat the dog, don't. That'll be too much even for me. Like
Mm.
no, even if it is just a rubber suit and put the dog in, it's just like nah. So they hinted
Yeah,
at it,
that's hard.
but it wouldn't surprise me if they had it done. You know what I mean? Because this there is an element of I don't give a shit. I'm just making a fun movie, and if you like it, so be it. If not, tough shit. You know what I mean? I'm making it for me. That's the impression I get from
Hmm.
this movie.
Yeah,
Is that when you're making something for
definitely.
yourself, at least there's integrity behind it, and that's what I get, and that's what keeps me on board, even after all these years.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah,
Yeah,
the alternative ending scene this year was so much fun.
definitely.
But yeah, all good. It was got a wee bit of a mixer. What is it? Are people
Hmm.
afraid to tell stories now? What is happening? Why are we able to watch
I
something
think,
from the
yeah. I
'60s
mean, the
or
problem.
the '80s and still enjoy it and understand that there's nowhere near the amount of technology or budget available? Yet we'll watch a modern movie and it's like it falls flat. What's the missing ingredient?
Well, the missing ingredients, the fucking audience. The audience is so different now. Like, I don't know if you ever watched the new
I
Mulan,
wouldn't
like
do it.
the live
I
action
heard a
one.
review of it and I'm like, nah, fuck that.
Dude, it is. So the problem is modern audiences don't have an attention span. Like, it's like 15 seconds and then you have to get on with it because of the YouTube generation and, like, social media. Like, everything has to be so small in size for people to actually consume it. Anything over a minute, they're not going to. And I think that's the problem because you can't tell a good story if you're constantly jumping. Um, because subliminally, every time you do a cut, you're reminding the audience that they're watching a movie. So, at least I know that's my problem with shit like that is, like, every time it does that, it reminds me, oh yeah, I'm sitting in front of the TV. I'm not
Yeah,
actually in a story. I'm just watching this filth. And I honestly think that's part of the problem. Because, like, true storytelling takes time, it takes effort. And if your audience doesn't have an attention span for time and effort, well, then you just got to pump out garbage.
it's a shame. I was having a chat with Evan last night. He was on
Mm-hmm.
Horrific Chats, and he's actually a school teacher. And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
are we the last? You know what I mean? Is there hope for the next generation? He says there is. Actually, there is. There's still kids there that want to learn, that want to embrace
Mm-hmm.
movies, that want storytelling. So there's still an
Mm-hmm.
appetite for it. So I'm hoping that we get
Yeah,
back
it's
because it's really fucking depressing to
yeah,
think that this is we are it. We're the last of people that actually appreciate stories.
yeah. Well, and it's hard because it's I spent some time with my sister over the weekend. We went to a wedding that was a fucking thing, but the whole time she's working on a college project, and one of the things she was doing was reading about her specific generation and explaining, like, it explains what their problem is how to kind of combat it and blah blah blah. And like I really think the generation right after them are the ones that are going to take both sides, like appreciate all the technology and all the like modern conveniences and stuff, but still be able to appreciate shit that like we appreciate. Whereas, the I generation, as it's called, like they're fucking idiots because they're coddled. They don't understand how to read. They don't understand how to write. I mean, the I heard there's people that don't even understand how to use a fucking computer. Like unless it's their phone or their tablet, they don't get it. And they have zero social skills. It's like God, that can't like humanity can't go
Yeah,
on if
that's
that's what
what I'm saying.
happens.
It
There has
almost
to
feels like
be a
we're at the end.
counterbalance to that.
And that's what I was saying
Yeah,
last night. It's like, throw me a
but
bone here, give me some hope that it's not over.
mhm.
Because that's,
Yeah.
you see it with entertainment, and that's, people dismiss entertainment, but it's a conduit.
Hmm.
Entertainment is a conduit for ideas, for imagination. Imagination is what gets you
Hmm.
thinking outside the box. Imagination is what gets you
Yeah.
inventing things. Imagination is what helps you solve problems. If you've no imagination,
Mm.
unless you're given a step by step list for everything in your life, do step 1 to 10, you're going to fall apart. The whole point of sparking somebody's
Hmm.
imagination is that when something comes across they're not used to, then you can figure it out
Yeah.
yourself. Storytelling
Hmm.
has been the essence of the humanity from we're in caves.
Hmm. Yeah. Straight up.
And
I mean, there's still uh, societies today that still thrive off of oral
go to
history.
the Amazon. No, that's only down the road.
The fucking even closer to home, my people like Navajo was never a written language, so our history, everything about it was always an oral tradition, and I mean it still is to this day.
We've obviously had great discussions. It's something I think needs to be written down so it doesn't get lost. It's like I said,
Hmm.
I'm in process of archiving at the moment, and there's stuff there
Hmm.
that's obviously you won't find on Amazon ever in a million years. So how do you preserve it and
Yeah,
how do
yeah.
you share it? So it's come of
Hmm.
the old and the new. But you can't lose the integrity of the old. I'm sick of this trying to rewrite history and destroy the past and label
Yeah.
everyone with the same tar brush. That's not how you
Hmm.
progress. You learn nobody's pure, clean, and
No.
innocent. That's not humanity. Every fucking species is like we're like a big pack, big pack of dogs. There's different breeds of dogs. You either
Hmm.
like dogs or you don't. It's not like only like this breed. If you're a dog lover, you're a dog lover. That's the way it is. And that's the way you should
Yeah.
view humanity. Don't lose the integrity of each breed's fucking characteristics and their journey, how they got there. But I'm just seeing modern movies, and that first one, like I said, it was a shame. I was looking forward to it. I want to see independent creators fill the gap that Hollywood's just leaving wide open. And
Hmm.
I want them to succeed. That's the thing. I don't want them to fail. It's the same as why we promote
Yeah.
writers. We want them
Hmm.
to succeed. That's why we try and give a bit of a snippet because of the whole attention span thing. That's why I tell people keep the things below 20 minutes. That's why I have the guidance, because
Hmm.
if we're trying to read out like an hour long, nobody's going to sit and listen to it. At least if it's a 10 minute, 15 minute, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Unfortunately.
people can listen to a 10, 15 minute snippet and then hopefully draw them into wanting to read the rest, and
Hmm.
try and coax people back into getting an attention span again, because it's like fitness. You can build it. Just
Yeah.
because you don't have
Yeah.
an attention
Absolutely.
span at the moment doesn't mean you can't work on it. Just because you can't run a marathon right now doesn't mean you
Hmm.
can't work on it. It's the same principle applies. And I
Yeah.
think people have just given up. The majority, anyway, have just
It's
fucking
true.
switched off and have gone into zombie mode.
Hmm.
It's whoever the loudest voice tells them what to think, that's what they think. And it's like,
Yeah.
really? because you can just you can watch the her. You know what I mean? Social media is the best example of it. Whatever the latest trending thing is, that's what everyone thinks. Lockstep in fucking time. And then the next thing might be completely contradictory, but because the loudest voice is shouting, they flip a dime, and then they're thinking that, and you're like, how do these two compute?
Yep. Yeah, it's fucking bonkers.
But if we don't get out of this fucking mindset, we're stuffed. We're truly in trouble because it will be eating each other's babies. Well, I'm an old fart, so I won't be. I've only got about 40, 50 years left of me, so hopefully I'll be gone by the time it all happens. But
right, that's the one silver lining. At least you'll be dead before you have to watch all this shit.
People are getting interviewed, like their late 70s stuff. Like, well, I'll be dead soon, so at least I'll not have to see it. You're like, how fucking depressing is that?
Yeah.
I love dark shit, but this is like reality. Fucking out here. Well, I'm on my way out. I'll be gone, so whatever. It's like, fucking hell, dude. You're not gone yet. You still got a good 10 years left, and you fucking live.
Right.
Well. Guess.
Well, I think that's a good place to end it. So, we hope you enjoyed our reviews. It just leaves us to say thanks to our, this month's contributors. With Horrific Tales, we got Trishan Hutchinson, Paul Barrell, Del Gibson, Chad Miller, and Steve Knight. And then, of course, we got to thank our Horrific Chats. We got D.E. McCleskey. Yep. I think I said that right, or I slaughtered it. Yeah, whatever. Got Chad Miller, Trishan Hutchinson, and Evan Boffman. So, until next time, keep it creepy.
Horrific.
Keep it horror.